Alright, where we dropping, boys? I can't actually go skydiving right now, so, eh.
Ah, Apex Legends. In February 2019, Respawn Entertainment, best known at the time for the Titanfall series, entered the Battle Royale scene. The rules of this shooter subgenre are simple: be the last person or team standing. This contest is accompanied by a shrinking playfield. In Apex Legends' case, the shrinker is a ring of energy that slowly closes in on a final point. And trust me, you do not want to get caught on the wrong side of it.
Nope.
Oh no! Oh no! Notice the special trampoline in that clip. One of the key things that sets Apex Legends apart from its competitors is a roster of special characters with unique abilities and gadgets. These legends are just one way Respawn tells the story of Apex. And let me tell you, there is a lot of lore under the surface here. For starters, each round of Apex Legends is part of the Apex Games, a tournament set on a series of small planets called the Outlands, run by an organization known as the Syndicate. This video is not going to explain all the details of that story. I'm not making a movie here, but what I can do is explain how Respawn tells the story, because it's not something you follow along with when you jump into a quick match. There's no forward-facing plot, per se. And the important distinction here is that story is more than plot. Plot is simply the through line of a story. Mario rescues the princess, Sonic also rescues the princess. Apex Legends has no A to B sequence like that, no hero's journey. Instead, its story is told through a combination of characters, trailers, and map design.
Sounds like a lot to handle, just like my bamboozle.
Let's start where every match starts, picking your character. Apex launched with 8 playable legends. In the time since, the roster has doubled, giving us a grand total of 16 playable characters as of this video. Each of those Sweet 16 have their own reasons for participating in the Apex games. Bangalore wants to raise money to go on a space expedition to find her missing brother, Caustic wants to run experiments on his fellow contestants, and Mirage just wants the attention.
You got bamboozled. You better not come back to haunt me.
Those are just a few quick examples from the original lineup. Every time Respawn introduces a new legend, another chapter of the overarching story is being told. Let's look at the first post-launch character, Octane, real name Octavio Silva. He's a daredevil who broke a gauntlet record by boosting himself over the finish line with a grenade, a move which ultimately cost him his legs, hence the artificial ones he now runs around on. Pair him up with Lifeline during a match, and she'll reference the incident.
Fragad! Back yourself up, Silva!
That incidental dialogue adds flavor in and of itself, but there's more under the surface there.
Just you and me now, hermana. It's like old times.
With that line, it's clear Octane and Lifeline have known each other for a while. Let's listen to another.
Heltron here. Hey, niño, long time no see.
So why is Octane so familiar with Lifeline and her health drone? You might have already guessed. She's the one who operated on his exploded legs and fitted him with his robotic replacements. That shared history leads to interplay between the two of them during a match.
Ring's closing. We better keep this thing moving. They're not the only notable duo in the game.
Perhaps the most infamous pairing is Revenant and Loba. Revenant, or as I like to call him, hey, we can also make Reaper from Overwatch, was introduced in Season 4. You can probably guess from his look that his whole deal is death, and you'd be right. He's designed to be good at murdering others while not getting murdered himself. Meanwhile, there's Loba, a jewel thief introduced right after Revenant in Season 5. There's a good reason we got them back to back like this. 2 of Revenant's victims were Loba's parents. That collision course colors all of their conversations on the battlefield.
You saved me? Isn't this interesting? What if your parents could see this now?
Talk about them again. I dare you.
There's a clear antagonistic relationship here, and it's only made worse by the fact that sometimes Loba and Revenant have to work together to win the Apex games.
Black market there. I get a friends and family discount. Right, Loba?
You don't deserve my help, demon.
I know the Octane lifeline thing is less obvious, but aren't Loba and Revenant stories pretty clear from the trailers?
Correct. While the team at Respawn writes a lot of in-game dialogue to let players infer more about the characters, the trailers it releases are very upfront about the story they're telling. If you watch the cinematic trailers for Loba and Revenant, you'll easily understand their dynamic. But trailers don't just introduce us to new characters, they also build out the world of Apex. Let's take a look at Wattson, the second legend added to the game post-launch. Her debut trailer reveals a close connection to the Apex games. As an electrical engineer, she actually designed the ring that closes in during each match. Furthermore, her deceased father was the game's primary engineer before her. So the trailer explains not just her as an addition to the roster, but it also fleshes out some of the history of the games.
But even with the trailer, there's still in-game dialogue for her too. She's like super smart.
Right again. Characters, trailers, and map design may be distinct methods of storytelling for Respawn, but they all overlap quite a bit. For example, if you watch the trailer and you know Wattson as the designer of the ring, then this exchange with Caustic in-game is a no-brainer.
Next ring is distant. You created this thing, Miss Paquette. You couldn't create a back door to work around it.
It also informs this voice line, where we can tell that Caustic does have a level of admiration for Wattson.
That revive technique is marvelous. We must discuss the merging of our life's works.
The heftiest of all these cinematics is The Old Ways. It's a full 10-minute short focusing on the origins of Bloodhound, one of the game's original 8 contenders. You can look at Bloodhound's getup and abilities and pretty quickly register that they're a hunter of sorts. But the short gives us a much deeper look at their upbringing. Raised in the Outlands before the Apex games were inaugurated, they were trained under a belief system called the Old Ways. Bloodhound's apparel from this time was added as a cosmetic, a cool costume at face value, but with a deeper meaning to those who watched the short. The cinematic then dovetailed into an event within Apex Legends itself, allowing players to visit one of Bloodhound's former training spots, relive an old hunt by taking down prowlers, and score some loot as a reward.
Right, all these ideas overlap. That means the trailers are linked to the map changes, right?
Bingo. This town takeover, as Respawn called it, was reflective of the Old Ways cinematic. As I said before, characters, trailers, and map changes are all interconnected. One of my favorite map events actually came before an official trailer. It was when Respawn was teasing Crypto. Important backstory. Crypto helped design the system that broadcast the Apex games to its viewers, but he was never able to qualify for the games himself. Being a savvy tech guru, however, he eventually hacked his way in as a proper contestant. Before he was playable, it was possible to actually catch him in the act. You could spot him hacking his way into the games in real time. Once he was in, he developed something of a rapport with Mirage, which takes us back to that in-game dialogue.
Well, 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 look who's the kill leader. Ah, you see that, Crypto? Crypto? You see the... Yeah, he knows.
It's the same kind of playful dynamic you sometimes see on set between actors and the behind-the-scenes crew.
Yeah, I've got you, old man.
Ring's closing again. We should wrap this up.
Sure, let's bring it on home. As of this video, the latest addition to the Apex roster is the explosives expert Fuse, and we can use him to tie a nice ribbon on this whole video. If you decide to play as Fuse, you can hear more of that interesting incidental dialogue.
Not exactly the warm and fuzzy type, are you?
Get up, or I'll deliver your extremities to the warlord.
We know that Caustic is familiar with Wattson's background, and he clearly knows a bit about Fuse too. That's a dynamic we'll hopefully see explored further in the future.
Time to bring the fun. Time to...
Fuse arrived in Season 8 with some cinematic trailers, as expected. The short, titled Good as Gold, doesn't explain his link to Caustic, but it does show Fuse's upbringing on the planet Salvo, ruled by the warlords that Caustic mentioned. Featured alongside Fuse is his childhood friend turned enemy, Maggie. Cut to the Season 8 launch trailer, and we see Maggie get her revenge as Fuse arrives for the Apex games. Explosions abound, and Fuse's ship crashes directly into Kings Canyon. And that leads us to map changes. The crash site is the latest addition to Kings Canyon. You can explore the ship and blow open special armory containers, a thematic nod to Fuse's explosive tendencies. So, as you can see in a nutshell with Fuse, Respawn tells the story of Apex Legends by adding new characters, detailing their backstories via trailers, and echoing the events of those trailers on the physical game map. It all comes together for one surprisingly deep world of lore. I've barely scratched the surface with all my examples here. And you know, you don't have to engage with that lore in any way. Apex is just as enjoyable if you want to pick it up for a few rounds here and there and not bother to keep up with the ongoing narrative. With a Switch version coming soon and new content up to Season 11 already in the works, there's plenty to keep us all engaged beyond the story. And at the end of the day, the most important thing with any Battle Royale is getting that W.
He's got gold or something. He's getting himself up. He's getting himself up. Nice! Boom! Did you just teabag me?
Yeah.
Hey, thank you so much for watching that video. Special thanks to my brother Tim for playing some duos with me. If you like what Framework is doing, definitely hit that subscribe button in the middle. It would help me out an awful lot if you did. And if you want to see what else we've already got cooked up, hit that link on the far left. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.